officials, made a public statement that they disarmed or destroyed what was there. But if you think about it spread out across the country, as I mentioned earlier, I think a lot of that was not damaged because there really wasn't a way to effectively do that. You remember before Kabul fell to the Taliban, they had pretty much taken over every province in the country. And so they were like in control of places where, in effect, these military bases might be, and the Afghan military collapsed. So I'm going to guess, like in this military parade, I think the Taliban put on yesterday, the day before, they had to have gotten former Afghan pilots to fly those helicopters and or planes because they wouldn't have the capability of doing it. So, as I mentioned earlier, they don't have the infrastructure to deal with all this stuff. But we'll see what they actually do with it. Will they sell it? Will they fly it to some other country? We just don't know.
And you mentioned flying into another country. I mean, a Black Hawk helicopter, for example, in the ballpark of, $21 million. That's something that was left behind. That's not something you can just hop into and fly.
No, of course not. And you'd have to get a Black Hawk trained, or at least, at the very least, a helicopter pilot to fly it to a location. You're in a country that historically and culturally sort of lives off bartering, and by our definition, corruption. So what would they do with this stuff? Will it end up in the hands of other extremist groups? ISIS-K is starting to grow in Afghanistan. Al-Qaeda has been there. That's the former bin Laden followers have been actually part of the Taliban for years. So we'll see. But it all becomes very, I suppose it becomes very unknown as to what could happen with all this stuff. But clearly, it's a bad idea that it's there, obviously.
What's your assessment of the next steps in what's happening in Afghanistan? We're out now, and we still have people left behind, Americans left behind, folks who worked with our troops during the time that we were there. What do you see as the next steps? Do you see us going back to get those who are left behind?
Well, I see, I guess, a couple of potentials. One is maybe covert operations, which are going to be really dicey to do. In other words, going in through special ops, or maybe even former military special ops, working privately, going in and maybe flying below radar, scooping up people. But, the country's so big, that's really going to be hard to do. There might be some of that because you smuggle people across the border, maybe. Will we ask, and my guess is we have already asked, will the Taliban help us get those people out of there? That remains to be seen. I'd be highly surprised if the Taliban would give up any Afghans that helped us for 20 years. They only because they don't want them leaving the country. They either want to punish them or they need their expertise to keep them in the country. So the answer to your question is there's no easy way to do this, and I just don't see it happening quickly.
All right, ABC's Brad Garrett, thanks for joining us this morning.
You're welcome. Take care.
You too. Okay, let's get back to a couple of stories in the KFI newsroom. Speaking of Afghanistan, dozens of kids from California are stuck in Afghanistan.
Officials say more than 30 kids traveled to Afghanistan to see relatives weeks before the Taliban took over the country, and they were not able to get out before U.S. forces left earlier this week. Officials with 3 school districts in the San Diego and Sacramento areas where the kids are enrolled say they have been in contact with the families, and they are worried that the kids have been forgotten by the U.S. government. Brett Lamar, KFI News.
And several international agencies and officials are working to get members of the Afghanistan women's national soccer team out of the country. The mission is being called Operation Soccer Ball. Now, most of the players were flown to Australia last week, but the ones who are left in Afghanistan say they're worried about their safety, the safety of their families, obviously. Under Taliban rules, women and girls are not allowed to play sports. You feed a peacock, you now pay the price.
The LA Board of Supervisors has made feeding peacocks a crime. The peafowl have been a pain in the butt for decades around the Southland, destroying gardens, blocking traffic, screeching, and dropping their poo all over. Feeding them is now a misdemeanor that could mean 6 months in jail and or a fine of up to $1,000. Officials say animal fanatics have been giving them seeds and bread, and that's increasing the population. Peacocks are not native to the Southland, and they don't really have any predators except maybe humans. In fact, groups of peacocks, or ostentations, have been seen chasing coyotes. Michael Crozier, KFI News.
And some Super Scooper aircraft are ready to help with the busy fire season in SoCal. The planes went into service yesterday. They'll be used to drop large amounts of water on wildfires. LA County Fire Chief Daryl Osby says people can help avoid an active fire season by not starting fires in the first place.
I say this every year, and I will repeat it again, that over 90% of wildfires are human caused. 90% of fires in wildfire areas are human caused.
Osby is also asking people with drones not to fly them near wildfires because they can get in the way of emergency aircraft. Well, a study shows the majority of employers in the U.S. are planning to make COVID-19 vaccinations a requirement before the end of this year. A poll by the risk consulting firm Willis Towers Watson says 52% of companies will require vaccinations as a condition of employment by the end of the year. Around 20% of businesses already have vaccine requirements in place. That includes Google, McDonald's, and the Walt Disney Company. Well, when we come back, 8 states will roll out a feature. It allows users to add their driver's license or a state ID to Apple Wallet for iPhone and Apple Watch to use the security at participating airports. Your big bites are coming up next. Right now, let's take a look at your drive. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, we make it easier. Traffic cleared in Santa Monica on the 10.
It was on the westbound side and had the Cloverfield on-ramp taken away. That has reopened. Not seeing any delays for you to make your way into the Santa Monica area out of West LA off the 405, continuing toward the coast. It is heavy for you, though, 10 West Santa Monica Freeway through downtown LA. As you come away from the 60, heading toward the 110 and the 110 north through South LA, that will be slow going for you already out of the South LA from Manchester toward Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Patching for your drive on the westbound side of the 105 off the 710 through Linwood. Seeing those patches of slowing continuing toward the drive all the way toward Prairie. 91 westbound as an alternate to the 105 west. A little bit sluggish off the 710 as you make your way toward about Wilmington Avenue. Still seeing a rough go of it for your drive. Westbound 60 as you head through Ontario and Chino from before Grove as you make your way toward Ramona Avenue. That's due to a wreck at the end of a construction zone. KFI in the Sky helps get to there faster. I'm Nick Poliokini.
Rates subject to change without notice. Minimum loan amount requirements apply. 50% loan to value and 740 FICO credit score. Certain restrictions apply. Subject to credit approval. NMLS 3290. Loans made or arranged pursuant to a California Finance Lenders Law license number 6036970. Equal housing lender.
Unbelievable. Home loan rates have dropped again at IntelliLoan. Today, IntelliLoan is offering a 1.875% rate in APR with no points and no lender fees. Did you hear that? A 1.875%. Don't think you qualify? I bet you haven't called IntelliLoan. You don't have to have perfect credit to get this great home loan. So lock in this unbelievably low 1.875% fixed rate in APR with no points and no lender fees. So call IntelliLoan before the rates go up. Call them at 1-800-918-6200. That's 1-800-918-6200. Or just go to IntelliLoan.com.
IntelliLoan. Borrow smart.
This is Chris Collinsworth. Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network, presented by DraftKings.
The Dodgers swept the Braves, reclaiming first place in the NL West. True Blue now holds the best record in baseball at 85-49. The Chargers quickly changed their initial 53-man roster, claiming safety Trey Marshall and lineman Eric Banks off waivers. And the remnants of Hurricane Ida postponed play at the U.S. Open. A retractable roof at Louis Armstrong Stadium wasn't enough to stop the rain from soaking the arena. I'm Missy Jordan.
Download the DraftKings app and use code SPORTS to get a free shot and millions of dollars up for grabs this week with your first deposit.
Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
This report is sponsored by Anthem Blue Cross.
Anthem Blue Cross and Heart of America are helping schools across the country increase their access to healthy food. Learn more at anthem.com/ca/SPARTS. Anthem Blue Cross is the trade name of Blue Cross of California. I will be honoring Labor Day this year by working on a steak at Cielo, a wall brewski at Wahlburgers, and my tan at the Oasis Pool. And now, the top 5 reasons to visit Morongo. Number 5.
Legendary Beach Boy Brian Wilson, live September 16th. This event will sell out. Get your tickets now.
Number 4.
Sapphire September giveaway. Get a 9.5-inch fry pan when you earn 500 points on your rewards card. The 6th and 7th.
3.
Labor Day dining deal. Our shrimp tacos are huge on taste. Only $3.50 at Fiesta Taco. Labor Day weekend.
Number 2.
Battle for the gold. You can win up to $2,000 cash playing games with your rewards card. Friday, 6 p.m. to 2 a.m.
And the number 1 reason.
A Labor Day freebie. Rewards members get a Morongo spatula while supplies last.
Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Morongo. Good times.
Look, staying healthy isn't easy. Watching your diet, hitting the gym, avoiding stress. But a good night's rest helps boost your overall health and wellness. And it couldn't be easier. The new Sleep Number 360 smart bed senses and automatically adjusts to keep you both effortlessly comfortable. The result? You wake up ready for anything. Proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep. Don't miss our Labor Day weekend special where all smart beds are on sale. Save 50% on the new Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed, plus free premium delivery and Labor Day.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents
And Doug.
Check it out, Limu. A roadside carnival.
Step right up, folks. Test your strength. Come see the fire-breathing baby.
Let's fan out and tell people that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Look! An emu wearing sunglasses!
Limu, you're famous. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Where do SoCal drivers go when they want to upgrade to a super new Honda? The Norm Reed's Honda Superstore. Right now, shop super prices on a super selection during the Honda Summer Sales event. Is your Honda lease ending soon? Return it to any of our 5 lease return super centers in the Cerritos Auto Square, Huntington Beach, West Covina, the Irvine Auto Center, and Vista. You'll get a super experience whether you lease with us or not. Upgrade today and get super prices on a super selection. All backed by our price protection guarantee, which states if you can find the same new Honda for less within 5 days, Norm Reed's will pay you the difference or buy your vehicle back. Visit our super award-winning Norm Reed's Honda Superstore location in Huntington Beach, West Covina, the Irvine Auto Center, and the #1 Honda store in the world in the Cerritos Auto Square. Plus, we're now open in Vista. Shop online at normreeds.com.
Tired of theft and vandalism at your commercial property? Proactively protect your business with advanced video security. At Bay Alarm, we keep our eyes on what you prize. Go to bayalarm.com to get protected today.
ACO 28CCL 880138. Here are the fun facts for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it. Unless you're a chameleon.
Stop text. StopRex.org. A message brought to you by iHeartRadio, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded. Join KFI and Thrill Seekers at the Afterburner Music Festival at the Pacific Air Show in Huntington Beach, October 1st and 2nd. This year's event will feature performances by Sammy Hagar and the Circle, Sam Hunt, ex-ambassadors, and more. Get your tickets now at AfterburnerMusicFestival.com. KFI AM 640.
More stimulating talk.
Hey, feeling good, like I stood, when in Dublin, walk around the neighborhood, feeling blessed, never stressed, got that sunshine on my Sunday best, yeah, hey, every day can be a
This is Wake Up Call on your Thursday morning. I'm Layla Muhammad in for Jennifer Jones-Lee. Some of the stories we're following out of the KFI 24-hour newsroom. A big story this morning, that flooding that's hitting parts of New York and New Jersey, the remnants of Hurricane Ida dumping heavy rain over the Northeast. So the number of people who have died right now has climbed to 9 in flooding. New York Mayor Bill de Blasio saying the flooding has shut down New York City's subway system. And challenging COVID-19 restrictions, the OC Board of Education has approved sending a letter demanding that Governor Newsom give up emergency powers by next week or face a lawsuit in Superior Court. Right now it's time for your Biz Bites, brought to you by Equinox Home Financing, the answer for the self-employed. Go to equinoxhomefinancing.com.
It's time for Biz Bites. Bites of business. Biz Bites on Wake Up Call with Phil and host name here.
The number of people filing claims for unemployment benefits in the U.S. has dropped. The Labor Department says 340,000 claims were filed last week. It says that's 14,000 fewer than the week before. It's also the lowest number since the pandemic started more than a year ago. The Justice Department may file a second monopoly lawsuit against Google over the search engine's digital advertising practices. An investigation is ongoing into the company over allegations it abuses its dominant position. The suit could be filed by the end of the year. The Justice Department sued Google in October, accusing the company of abusing its monopoly in internet search to harm rivals and consumers. Texas led a separate antitrust lawsuit by states accusing Google of abusing its market power. 8 states will roll out a feature allowing users to add driver's license and state IDs to Apple's Wallet for iPhone and Apple Watch to use as security at participating airports. Here's how it works. To ensure it's official, the user will have to take a selfie after uploading a picture of their driver's license or state ID card. They will also be required to complete facial and head movements similar to how Face ID is activated. The upload will be securely provided to the state for verification. So Arizona and Georgia are the first states to adopt the feature, and Connecticut, Iowa, Kentucky, Maryland, Oklahoma, and Utah will follow. Apple says the initiative is an easy, fast, and more secure way for people to present their IDs on their iPhone or Apple Watch to TSA officers. Apple did not say when the TSA program will officially begin in these states. Speaking of Apple, it is relaxing rules to allow some app developers such as Spotify, Netflix, and digital publishers to include an outside link so users can sign up for paid subscription accounts. The iPhone maker says it's making a small adjustment to its strict App Store rules for developers of so-called reader apps in order to resolve an investigation by regulators in Japan. The changes will take effect globally in early 2022. And Twitter is stepping up its efforts to help users who are experiencing harassment protect themselves. So the social media company announced the test of a new feature called Safety Mode, which aims to help people prevent being, overwhelmed by harmful tweets and unwanted replies, and mentions the feature will temporarily block accounts from interacting with users to whom they have sent some harmful language or repeated and uninvited replies or mentions. And those are your Biz Bites on this Thursday morning. Let's check in with a couple more stories coming out of the KFI 24-hour newsroom this morning. Governor Newsom has been warned by the OC Board of Education to give up his emergency powers or else. Board of Education Vice President Dr. Ken Williams says COVID-19 is not going away and certainly is no longer an emergency.
Our state is more like a Marxist communist state where the government has control over individual liberties and freedoms.
Yesterday, the board approved sending a letter demanding Newsom give up emergency powers by next week or face a lawsuit in Superior Court. Now, the state Supreme Court has already rejected 2 similar lawsuits filed by the board, which try to challenge Newsom's COVID restrictions. Police are looking for a man who allegedly sexually assaulted a UCLA student while she was asleep in her apartment in Westwood.
Investigators have released a sketch of the man described as either white or Hispanic. He was last seen driving a Ford Fusion. Detectives with the LAPD say the assault happened last week, and it doesn't appear that anyone else was attacked. They also say the woman who was assaulted was not seriously hurt. Blake Trolley, KFI News.
The U.S. Supreme Court is allowing a restrictive abortion ban in Texas to stand. This is news that happened overnight. ABC's Royal Oak says the justices voted 5-4 last night to deny an emergency appeal from abortion providers that sought to block the law.
The 4 justices dissenting from the order blasted the majority, saying the Texas law is unquestionably unconstitutional and therefore should not be enforced, pending the law for challenge to the statute.
The law prohibits most abortions once a doctor can detect
Check 1, 2, 3.
cardiac activity.
Thank you.
Good morning, Wayne. How are you? The law prohibits most abortions once a doctor can detect cardiac activity, which is usually around 6 weeks. That's before many women know they are pregnant. And officials in Louisiana are asking people to be patient as the state tries to recover from Hurricane Ida. Sheriff Greg Champagne says nearly every home and business in the St. Charles Parish has some type of damage because of the storm.
We're damaged. We're going to come back. It's going to be one step at a time. And everybody wants everything to happen now. You're hot. You're miserable. I've got over 100 deputies whose homes are unlivable right now.
More than 1 million homes and businesses in Louisiana are dealing with power and water outages that could take weeks to fix. President Biden is set to visit the state tomorrow. Okay, so let's talk about a not-so-smart move, allegedly by a 24-year-old woman from Illinois who submitted a fake COVID-19 vaccination card because she wanted to go to Hawaii. Here's the problem. She couldn't spell Moderna. Nope. Moderna, M-O-D-E-R-N-A, was spelled M-A-D-E-R-N-A. So, of course, you know, folks looking at this vaccination card have a little red flag. So in order to bypass Hawaii's 10-day traveler quarantine, she uploaded the vaccination card to the state's Safe Travels program. She got to Hawaii, Honolulu to be exact, August 23rd on Southwest Airlines. Airport screeners started noticing the suspicious errors, such as how Moderna was spelled and that her home was in Illinois, but she got her shot in Delaware. So that raised the red flag, too, in addition to the misspelling. So she was charged with 2 misdemeanor counts of violating Hawaii's emergency rules to control the spread of COVID. She has been in custody on a $2,000 bail. A judge did release her yesterday. Poor thing. She'll never forget that, allegedly. Now here's some good news for Disneyland lovers. Disneyland announcing dates for the Christmas parades, fireworks, and food fest. So already making plans for Christmas. Already? We haven't even gotten to Halloween yet. Wow. Disneyland and Disney California Adventure will kick off the Christmas holiday season November 12th with a 2-month celebration that will stretch until January 9th. I guess we need some joy right now, don't we? Disneyland has been closed, or had been closed, excuse me, it's open now, had been closed during last year's Christmas season because of extended COVID-19 closure orders. So this is going to be a big one. I think this is going to be exciting. The Believe fireworks show will play out in front of Sleeping Beauty's Winter Castle. Ooh. 8 food booths at DCA's Festival of Holidays will serve dishes celebrating Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Diwali, and Three Kings Day. If you're looking for some seasonal selfies, you'll find Disney characters dressed in holiday costumes at both parks, with Disneyland offering a kiss goodnight from pajama characters waving goodbye each evening from the Disneyland Railroad train station. This sounds fabulous. I've never been to Disneyland during the Christmas season, so I bet you I'll check it out this year and see how pretty this is. And there's some sad news to report this morning if you are a fan of the Real Housewives franchise. You know, I watch every one of them, but this is in particular Atlanta, although Nene Leakes left the show a while ago. But her husband, Greg Leakes, who was a big part of the Atlanta franchise, has died. He lost his battle to cancer. Nene and Greg shared his battle with cancer on the show, and at one point things were looking good for him. He was improving. His condition was getting better. But Greg Leakes, who was 66, died at home, surrounded by family. And it's just a sad thing to see because I was, hopeful that he was making a turn for the better. But he was being treated for colon cancer in 2018. That's when we first learned about this. And then the next year on the show, we saw he was, cancer-free. And then in June of this year, Nene, shared that Greg's cancer had returned. So from June until now, things progressed pretty quickly. So thinking about Nene this morning, and I'm so sorry to hear about Greg. This is KFI and KOSTHD2, Los Angeles. Let's take a look at your drive right now. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, we make it easy. Good morning, Jeff.
Hey, good morning, Layla. How you doing? It's good to hear your voice.
Oh, it's good to be here. I'm not awake at all.
Well, none of us are. We're all faking it. Who's kidding who?
Right.
Good morning to you. I hope you're awake if you're driving the 405. You got to be, that's for sure, leaving the San Fernando Valley. But it's okay, really. Nothing to warn you about. The usual stuff going down to the 101. You'll be okay. There is a bit of a problem, though. I'll check for you, though. Going towards Pacoima, South 5 at the 118. That's always a busy spot with those transitions. But there's something going on there, a little slowing. After that, you'll be okay down to Riverbank. Quick check of Orange County, though. West 91 now. This is the Riverside Freeway approaching the 5. On the transition to the North 5, there's a right shoulder problem there, kind of right in the middle as you go by. Quickly inland, westbound 60 now, Ramona, coming through Chino. There's a problem there with a backup to Vineyard. I'll check that for you. The westbound 10 is good, but the eastbound 10 going through Ontario at Vineyard, got a couple lanes blocked on that. More coming up. Don't go away. Injured in an accident, visit Superwoman, superlawyer.com. KFI, get you there faster. I'm Jeff Ball. I sure am.
I am one of thousands of women with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC.
Which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body.
I am living in the moment and taking Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for postmenopausal women or for men with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy.
Be in your moment. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Addressing hair loss has never been easier thanks to Advanced Hair Restoration's simple one-day treatment. The most difficult part? Making the call for your free consultation. Call 844-333-HAIR and get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. AdvancedHair.com.
SoCal weather from KFI, partly sunny highs in the mid-70s along the coast, near 80 for Metro LA and Inland OC, mid to upper 80s for the valleys and the Inland Empire. Looking ahead to Labor Day, which is Monday, highs in the 80s and 90s inland. We lead locals from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Layla Muhammad. This has been your wake-up call on this Thursday morning. Handle on the news starts right now.
Handle on the news.
KFI Am 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Good morning. It's the Bill Handel Show. He's recovering from heart surgery. Jennifer Jones-Lee is off for a couple of days on a little vacation. Layla Muhammad is here, former Employee of the Month.
Yes, my reign is over. Did we announce a new one yet?
Yes, Mo Kelly.
Oh my
Is the Employee
goodness!
of the Month.
Congrats, Mo. I have to send him a text message. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. So I'm really making your life difficult already this morning.
No, you're not. It was just the timing. That's all it was. Also, it's like a real serious story.
You were talking about this Texas abortion law, and all of a sudden there's me, check 1, 2, 3 on the air. Not by design. But here's what let me just give you a very brief history of how that happened. Yesterday we started the show, and none of the mics in the host studio would go on air. And it turned out there's a mic processor in here in a rack, and it lost power. And so none of these mics were working.
Oh.
So this morning, I said, I'm not going to do this every day, but just today, let's do a quick check.
I'm just glad you said check. I'm glad you didn't say something else.
Well, that could have happened, believe me. So that's why. But then what happened is I didn't know how the process worked for me to talk into the mic and Tyler to hear me, but it not go over the air. So I turned the mic on, which I didn't need to do. And then that's why I was on the air. So I apologize.
That's okay. Stuff happens, right?
Yeah, and then right when you were having to do your lockout, I talked to you in your ear.
It's okay.
So I've already been unprofessional to you twice.
Honestly, I have so much other stuff going on. It's totally fine. I'm here. I'm trying to get caffeinated.
Oh, no.
I'm trying to catch up on the news.
How hard is it to get caffeinated?
It right now for me, it's hard. Yeah.
Why? You just drink caffeine?
No, my body's not responding.
Oh, it's not working.
Yeah, my body's like, girl, if you don't go to bed.
You have built up a large tolerance to caffeine.
No, it's lack of sleep, which is not working.
Oh, I see. You're so tired that it can't overcome your tiredness.
It cannot. It's giving up on me. And I made it myself at home, and it's mediocre. It's not a great quality of coffee. Now, we do have a French press in Gary and Shannon's office. So,
Is there a grinder in there?
they have something special to make coffee. It's fancy.
Alex,
Right?
is there a way we can get into their office before one of them arrives and opens that office?
Yeah,
I'd be curious.
technically.
Okay.
I happen to know a guy who has a French press in his office with some coffee next to it.
Oh,
Wait, is his name Tyler Whitman?
That might be his name.
Oh, you have one? I thought that was Jacob.
I might have copied him.
Oh,
You're not a great idea.
Oh, you're awesome. If you make some coffee, that would be amazing. I'll pay you for it.
Oh, look, Tyler, did you think that your copying of another person here at the station could be profitable?
I didn't say
You
how
want to
much.
make some big coins.
Can be profitable?
All right, so good morning, Layla Muhammad.
Good morning, Wayne.
Tyler, good morning.
Good morning.
Alex.
Hi.
All right, let us start handle on the news. Layla Muhammad and me. The lead story is the Supreme Court has allowed Texas's law that bans abortions after 6 weeks to remain in place for now. This is just a denial of an emergency request to block the law now. It does not in any way stop all the normal appeals processes that will happen, and they did make clear they were not deciding anything about whether the law is constitutional or not. This is a super wonky procedural issue right now. We're going to have Dean Erwin Chemerinsky of the UC Berkeley School of Law on at 7, and we'll get into, and here's the thing. So the main story would be, ooh, this law, and is it constitutional?
Correct.
But really, the fun is how they wrote the law to take a hand grenade and throw that hand grenade right into the middle of the normal legal processes for challenging the law. Which, and I got to tell you, I don't know if it's going to work or not. It's very clever. You got to give the legislature in Texas credit for coming up with an inventive way to try to have their abortion ban stay in place.
Well, aside from that, too, just the details of this law, the suing of your neighbor or the suing of a person you see, whether they're driving someone to get an abortion or just aware of what's happening, in any way, you can sue someone. You don't have to even know the person.
That's
you
correct.
can sue the person for aiding someone in getting an abortion.
You don't have to live in Texas.
Well, I didn't know that part.
Anybody in the entire country can sue anybody in Texas who in any way, however minimal, aids and abets somebody getting an abortion after 6 weeks. That's the way they wrote it, and when I said the clever trick with the hand grenade into the legal system, that's it. That's the thing they put in there that makes it much harder to go through the appeals process. Not impossible, but much more difficult. And I would say proof of concept is the Supreme Court order, we're not going to stop the law right now. The reason they didn't stop it is because Texas wrote it in such a weird and clever way that they basically said, we can't even get involved at this stage. But Dean Chemerinsky will do a better job of explaining what's going on.
Let's talk about these California kids who are stranded in Afghanistan. So, about 30 kids from our state, they had traveled to the country to see relatives weeks before, the withdrawal of our troops. And so officials with 3 school districts, one in San Diego and 2 in Sacramento, they said they've been in contact with the families. These families are afraid they're stuck there, that the U.S. has forgotten about them. And some of the children were born here in the U.S. They're U.S. citizens.
Right. And these are all families that have people who helped us over there.
Right.
And now, Biden said we're still going to try to get people out. We don't have anybody in country, really, to do it. But we have a small diplomatic mission that's over in Qatar now, and they're talking to the Taliban. And basically, we're going to ask the Taliban to be super cool and nice and maybe help and get these people out.
I don't think that's happening. No.
It doesn't seem to be happening at the moment, no.
Yeah, and the families are saying, hey, we can't even get to the airport, right? So we're stuck.
You know what, Layla, let's get a news update from you, and then we'll continue handle on the news right here on KFI 8640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Well, you heard Wayne just talking about this. The Supreme Court saying a new abortion law in Texas that bans the procedure once a fetal heartbeat is detected will be allowed to stay in place for now. The High Court has denied an emergency appeal to block the measure. The number of Americans seeking unemployment benefits fell last week to 340,000, which is a pandemic low. And authorities say at least 9 deaths have been reported in New York City and New Jersey as rain from the remnants of Hurricane Ida sent New York City into a state of emergency. We're checking out some traffic troubles on the 60 next.
Life is full of surprises, and one of the worst surprises you can experience in life is when you get into an accident and you're injured. That's where my friends at Sweet James Accident Attorneys come in. You see, personal injury is the only thing Sweet James does. They've helped thousands of listeners just like you get the medical treatment they really need and recover millions of dollars every month. There's no justice in accepting a low offer from the insurance company after your injury has changed your life. You're going to need help navigating the legal system to make sure you get medical care, vehicle repaired, and the most amount of money possible. And you won't pay a dime until they win your case. If you've been injured in an accident, call Sweet James for a free consultation. 800-500-5200. 800-500-5200 or sweetjames.com.
The Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine is now approved by the FDA for people ages 16 and up. For the confirmation the vaccines are safe and effective, visit myturn.ca.gov to find a vaccine near you. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Mostly sunny skies today with highs in the 80s and 90s inland. This report brought to you by the California Department of Social Services. Let's head now to Crash in Chino on the 60s.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, if you're trying to get through Chino. Now, if you were with us last time around, I mentioned this west on 60 at Ramona, a little bit before the 71. The severe delays are kind of going away a little bit. It's definitely still approaching that. But once you get through that, through the 71 and through the Diamond Bar area, you'll be okay. As a matter of fact, all the way to 605, right now, it's a pretty good job. That's not going to last for long. West San Fernando Valley heads up. Now, this is really a fast off-ramp. If I take it often, westbound or north, if you will, 101 at Topanga Canyon. The Topanga off to southbound Topanga. It's a tough right-hand turn. Somebody didn't make it. They took out a whole bunch of guardrail. I think it's going to be shut down for a while. So before you get involved, use the Winnetka off-ramp before you get to Topanga, or just keep on going and get off at Valley Circle. And a little bit of an issue coming in, reports to the CHP, going through Burbank there, North 5 of Buena Vista. Something large, quite large, in the middle of the freeway. It's, well, some diversions are going on right now, so just be careful. That's North 5 of Buena Vista. After that, though, pretty good drive up to the 118. Orange County still checking in pretty good. Not too bad yet. Injured in an accident. Visit Superwoman, superlawyer.com. KFI gets you there faster. I'm Jeff Bob.
This report is sponsored by Ashley Home Store.
Save up to 50% off your entire purchase during the Ashley Home Store Labor Day sale. Plus, up to 5 full years interest-free financing. Plus, get a $100 Ashley gift card. Wow! Save on doorbusters. When they're gone, they're gone. Hurry in today. AshleyHomestore.com is home.
At Open Door, we felt it was time the home selling process left the past behind. So we got to thinking, and we invented a new way to sell your home. One without the hassles and hurdles of listings, showings, and all the unknowns. One that puts you in control. Just go to opendoor.com, enter your address, tell us a little about your house, and we'll make you an offer in minutes. How? Open Door takes a look at your house, along with recent sales in your neighborhood, to come up with a very competitive offer, a real offer. You'll know how much you'll get. You can close when you're ready, and you can do everything online.